Welcome to Journey Through the Innerverse. I'm really excited to be here. We are actually going to be sharing an archive chat with you all on Sex in the Dream Realm Part 2. But first, I want to check in and ask Alexis, how are you doing today?
I am, my energy today is extremely slow. I feel like a computer that's lagging. I don't want to get out. I didn't want to get out of bed. And I know it's, the holiday. When you're listening to this, it'll be at the end of the week, but today is Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And I still have so much to do, and I'm just feeling not motivated at all. How are you?
I am feeling exactly the same way. I'm really tired. Yesterday, I drove from New York to Maryland to visit my mom and other family. So we're having Christmas here in Maryland, and it was about a 6 hour drive. And I mean, I'm impressed with that it was only 6 hours with the stops that we did on the way. But yeah, I'm freaking exhausted. And I hate to say this, I say it every year, and I'm not gonna shame myself, but whenever Christmas comes around, I just like get to the point where I just want to get it over with. And Alexis, you and I are similar in which we honor the solstice, which is, the 21st. And so that has come and went. And naturally, this is a time of rest, of stillness. So the way our energy levels are is right on time for our season here in the Northern Hemisphere. And so to have that, and then all of a sudden you're like, propelled into the Christmas energy. And you guys, I'm sure all of you know, if you ever step outside the house, you can be in the house and you still feel it. It's everywhere.
Yep.
There's a lot of like just amplification of like high energy, like very high energy. And it's a lot. It's really destabilizing to the nervous system. So it kind of is what it is. And we're gonna be present with it, and then we're going to be really excited on the other end.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, all right, I'm excited for all of this to be over. Like it doesn't it, the older I get, the more having like a intense holiday during this liminal period feels kind of unnatural. Um just because like you said, the winter solstice hits, this is the time for us to hibernate, be still, like quiet with ourselves in that liminal space between death and life, and having all of that energy like you mentioned just consuming us immediately after. It's like it feels a little unnatural. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer, like, oh, Christmas, but when you go with you learn to go with the cycles and the seasons, and you go based off of your intuition and how you feel. It just doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel natural.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. And yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the energy we're in right now. There is not really a lot going on astrologically compared to what we experienced ongoing for pretty much this whole year. This really feels like a resting period in the celestial energy too. We're coming up on the Capricorn new moon, so we're really excited about that. And yeah, that is December 30th. So that's going to be really amazing. And I'm ready to just feel into that energy and just be.
With your moon in Capricorn, are you feeling any type of draw of like energy towards this new moon?
Not yet, but I haven't really sat with it. And I think that it's because of, just even traveling, being out of my element. Like I do love traveling, but I swear I never travel, or as of recently, it's never traveling for enjoyment. It's always like for family, which is not
Yeah.
a bad thing, but it's like I want to just travel and go somewhere like new that I haven't been before, which hopefully that will happen for my birthday, but I do tend to in general get really excited about the Capricorn new moon because essentially it's not only my moon, but it's very close to my birth moon, like my moon
Mhm.
phase that I was born under, which was a balsamic moon. So it was on the waning crescent basically side of that energy. And
Mhm.
so I do really enjoy that stillness and just the I don't know, the coldness of the Capricorn moon because Capricorn moons they're not I mean, oh, they're intense in their own way. But
Yeah.
I love it. And I love my productive nature and like even my practical side of things and, just preparing for uh the next year and reflecting on what has transpired, this previous year or this current year. And I just really feel it feels in alignment with the closing of a cycle for me. Especially my birthday is, for those of you listening, January 20th. And so it's like nice to have like my new year after all of the mess and also in just that, societal cycle of like our new year starts in January. And so it's like it's kind of in alignment with that, even though, technically this is like still that resting period. Like
Mhm.
astrologically, we would say the new year is the spring equinox.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I would say also my dream space has been it's been very active, but I don't hold on to them for very long because I've just been so busy. So I haven't been like really recording them. My only recordings is sharing it, with Alexis and a few others. And so, I'm present with them. I'm like, okay. So it'll be nice to reflect on, that like how my dream spaces are from month to month and like looking at what's going on collectively and of course personally.
Oh, for sure. Especially, our next live, which will be on January 1st, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, will be the end of a dream cycle, and we'll be sharing what this cycle was like for us, which kind of already touching on it because I've been the same way where like things have just been so busy that I'm having these intense dreams, but I'm not able to just grasp them. And it's very, very, very frustrating, but I'm trying really hard not to be down on myself because it's not my fault. Like, I can't control it. I can't control it. But, um, just so you guys know, too, submit some dreams if you'd like to express to us how your dream space has been since our last check in, our last cycle. And if you have dreams you want to share, feel free to share them with us in either through sending through messages on Instagram, or you can send it to our email, the innerversepodcast@gmail.com. Um, but yeah, this dream space has been very interesting. Definitely a lot different than our last check-in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what you all submit and I'm just looking forward to sharing Alexis and also just going back and reflecting, okay, what did I actually record? Because I know there was probably like one or two maybe in my journal, maybe, but and it's funny, Alexis and I we have an ocean of voice messages to each other on Instagram. And so I
Yes.
like wish that there was some way to like search through them. So it is what it is again, and I'm not gonna like guilt myself about it, but I'm excited to see, what is shared. So please do share with us. All right, so we are excited to transition into the archive chat we're going to share with you tonight. So, this is on Sex in the Dream Realm Part 2, in which we actually had a special guest, Mary, join in on this hot topic. Oh my gosh, it was such a fun topic.
It was. This live took place on July 10th of this year, 2024. And again, this is one of our listeners' favorite chats. So we think you'll definitely enjoy it. We go even deeper into the examples of how sex shows up in dreams and our thoughts and feelings on it. So Friday, this will be dropping. Don't miss it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it
everything that
was
you want in a
so
part
good.
two of sex dreams or sex in the dream realm. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and feel free to again, submit your comments, your questions. Also, if you had these kind of dreams or anything came up like sexually in the dream that you want to, I mean, you can share with us privately. Feel free to email us at the innerverse podcast at gmail.com and just let us know that you want to keep this private and we'll chat with you there via email, or you can send us a message on our Instagram profile and we will also connect with you there. But yeah, this is just an amazing fun conversation and it's a taboo topic, so not a lot of people have an open space or feel comfortable sharing, and you can always share with us and we would love to hear your thoughts on just what was discussed as well.
Absolutely. This is a non-judgmental zone. Um, Sex is sex. It's weird, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, but we embrace it because it's a part of our lives. And, sometimes the best thing you can do to relieve yourself of whatever you're feeling about it is to just share it. And like we said, it can be private. We can help you, navigate through it and kind of bring to light what the underlying messages might be, because you may not know this, but sex dreams don't necessarily mean sex. There
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
underlying issues and messages that need to come through to your consciousness. And if you're having a difficult time understanding that, we're here for you.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to revisit this topic from another angle too. More probably focus on that angle. I would love to go there. All right, well, we hope you enjoy this episode and we'll see you on the other side. We'll see you live January 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel. And again, feel free to submit those dreams at the innerverse podcast at gmail.com or on our Instagram profile.
We hope you had a wonderful holiday, and if you didn't, we're sorry. Um, it's definitely a weird year, a weird time for the season, and a lot of people I know are kind of feeling meh about the holidays. So we'll see you on the other side of that.
All right, we're live. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited because, of course, it's myself and Alexis as per usual, but we have Mary Fidilio here. And I'm sure if you are a subscriber to my channel, you've definitely seen her face before. And I'm pretty sure you did a live chat, dream chat with us before.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're
I think
excited
more than
to have
once.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, this is really exciting. How are you two tonight?
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How are you
Fantastic.
doing?
Thank you. And Mary, it's good to have you on again. Thank you for joining.
I like to have fun, so girls just wanna have.
Yeah.
I should have bought wine for this.
Hey,
Well,
look, I seriously came this close to like
I
pour
thought I had,
myself a ginger ale and wine spritzer. Like I so close. I was like, oh, am I gonna get nervous? No, let's not.
well, I was actually nervous last week when as soon as I hit record or when I started talking, I just got a little flustered. And I wasn't nervous, in preparation and as I was thinking about it. And it was, yeah. So I have wine this time. I kind of came prepared. So I'm drinking for the both of
I'm
you.
jealous.
But yeah, I'm so excited. So tonight we're going to talk about sex and dreams. This is part 2. If you have not seen part 1, I definitely encourage you to go watch that after this because we want you here to watch live with us. Of course, if you're watching the replay, then whatever you choose, it might be helpful to go back and watch part 1. But yeah, we couldn't get enough of this conversation. It was just so juicy and we're going to keep it flowing and keep it going. I will say that after the first conversation, Alexis and I, first of all, that conversation went in a direction Like as far as my own personal reveals, it went in a direction I did not expect. Like I was ready to talk about all the fun, dirty things that I've done in my lucid dreams and like some really heavy and relationship reflections kind of came through, like basically how I utilize sex, like the primal act of sex to gain the eros and the love aspect, like the connection with the divine, as well as that just like really high vibrational connection, I guess you could say, which I feel like most of us do, but like, I don't know, it was very unconscious. So I did a lot of reflecting on that. And I wanted to talk more about this topic because there were fun things that I still want to talk about. And there's not a lot of this out here. So that's how I want to start the conversation. First, I want to say hello to everyone that's watching live. Jim is here. I left previous message for invited friends. Um, okay. Not sure what that meant,
It's gonna
but
be a party, I'm telling you.
right. Oh, I know. I love Jim's comment. So, yeah, welcome, Jim. If there's anyone else who's watching live, feel free to say hello. Don't be shy. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time chatting with us in the comments. And yeah, we would love to hear your questions and experiences. So, basically the way I want to start this conversation, or what was interesting to me in preparation for part two, was like I wanted a bit more insight of sex and dreams, like something aside from what we talked about before, or mainly my experience. And in the previous conversation, we referenced a podcast episode from this Jungian life. The link for that episode is in the other live stream description, and it's called Sex and the Power of its Power Fascination, or something of that nature. So this time I wanted to find something else really fun and insightful. And I did a Google search, I did a YouTube search, and it was really weird. There wasn't a lot of things out there. And what was out there was primarily like very religious, spiritual, like shaming, taboo, even like the non-Christian stuff. It was like, sexuality, or like sex, if you get too caught into it, it's like can block things within your consciousness, and like it's just a distraction. It was a lot of that. Right. And I did find like a few gems, but like not anything. I mean, they were 5 minutes long. So I kind of want to start the conversation with that. I will let Alexis and Mary kind of flow off this because I've just been talking. Also, Jace is here. Jace says, hello, Jim and ladies. Hi, Jace.
Hey,
Thanks for
Jim and
being here.
Jace.
So, do
Well,
y'all
I,
have
I
any?
can I can start with respect to the fact of what wasn't covered in your last video was what I brought up earlier, is the fact that because of that shaming, because I was raised as a little Roman Catholic girl, like it was always naughty. So most of my dreams have been more like nightmares. And as they, like, if I was curious about it in my younger years, it would have been, no, don't go there. And then as I got more interested in it, then again, I started having relationships, and it was more feeding my insecurities of like if I had like some kind of premonition or intuition about someone being unfaithful to me, then it would creep in into my dreams, right? And then I would have a whole like script unfold of itself. It's not until recently, and I really do believe strongly that that comes hand in hand with a lot of the healing that we do for ourselves, that I felt like I had experienced something that was like, whoa, I don't know what that was, but I know that's what I'm looking for, kind of thing, right? So, and it's funny because like I say this in conversation with a lot of people, that like, I mean, if I thought that I was tough before with prerequisites and scripting out what I thought my ideal man was now, that was through the misunderstanding of what I had, but in knowing the sensuality, at least for me, like I can't do anything robotic when it comes to sex. And actually, while we're on that discussion, seeing that, that's why I tapped you on the shoulder. I want to like pedal back and thank you for putting in that little footnote about scorpions being known with respect to their sexual aura and everything. And I want to add that growing up, even that was like uncomfortable, because if I knew a dirty joke, it was almost as if, oh no, is this the crowd that I can tell it and they're not going to like blow it out of proportion? Or am I going to hear it for 3 days after just because I'm a scorpion? And even if I didn't mean some kind of sexual connotation with it, then all of a sudden they were just assuming to it. No, scorpions are not just little horn dogs, okay? As a matter of fact, we go deep, and I'm not talking in anatomy. I'm talking we go deep, but anyhow, we go
Yes, God.
deep. Like that, you have to have a connection. That you cannot just throw your freaking worm on a line and put it in the pond and think that you're going to catch a scorpion mermaid. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. They make you
it,
work
it
for it.
you gotta really
Yeah.
understand that it is a passion. When yeah, can scorpions play? Yeah, if that's what people are vibing with, then that's, we're going to reflect you, right? But when somebody is serious about something, it's more about the, I want to lose myself in the person. I want to erase,
Mhm.
like, everything that's in my surroundings, and I just want to forget any other existence and leave this world and then come back together. You know what I mean? So I hope that that covered a little bit of what you were saying, but that's my experience with dreams and tipping into the energies and honoring the sexualities and what comes of it, and the way to interpret it for yourself. I think it's just all really a personal experience more than anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's also interesting too that
Sorry. I was
here comes the laughter,
gonna
the
talk,
nervous
but you're
laughter.
gonna
Oh
talk
no,
after
you
me.
go. You go. You go. I was just gonna, well, I'll just point out one thing that was interesting
No,
and we
I
can
was
come
just
back
gonna
to it.
say.
Oh, you go. I will. I already had like a whole monologue in the beginning, so you go.
Well, I was gonna say it's interesting that you bring up growing up and how like sex kind of intertwined into your dreams and kind of the shame you felt around it and how that shame, externally was kind of internally as well in your unconscious. And I was thinking back now, I believe both of you grew up in the church
Mhm.
environment, right? You guys had
Mhm.
more of like a foundation of like religion. I we my whole family just kind of stopped going to church when I was like 7, and, they were never really super into it to begin with. So I never had those fears and shame kind of bestowed upon me. So it's kind of interesting. I still felt the shame around it because it's, you don't really know how to talk about it, especially when you're younger and you're kind of just growing into your different stages throughout, late childhood to early teenhood and then teenhood to an adulthood, because it's all completely different. Now, dreams have been really vivid my entire life, so I have memory issues where like I would think something happened in real life, but it actually happened in a dream, and I would like fight for my life that this happened and it was a memory of my dream. So like when I was in like second grade, I had a dream that I kissed some kid under a desk, but I didn't realize that it wasn't a dream, or that it was a dream. So I went in and talked to him about it, like it happened, and he's like, "That never happened." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? That just happened." So like little things like that, where it was like not sexual, or like really abstract and surreal, like random naked men in bubbles floating above my head, and I'm just kind of like existing there, like what is happening? Like it was just the weirdest tie-in. As I got into like middle
Oh,
school, it was more like random people in school. But
Mm,
it's interesting because I didn't think about how it intertwined into my growing up, and
yeah.
Mary brought up that aspect. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about mentioning anything from when I was younger. That's so
Yeah.
interesting. Thank you
And the
for
more we talk, the
triggering
more
that in
you
me,
you
Mary.
you spark memories.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. What stood out to me with Mary's
Absolutely.
introduction too was that just witnessing like very in a very concise way of how you kind of share that. It's like we got an idea of like how your dreams have evolved as far as sexuality or sex and dreams. And when I think about my upbringing, and I'm kind of like a little bit in between both of you. Like I had a religious foundation and structure, but that was like when I was with my grandmother. And then when I moved with my mom, which was around like when I started living with my mom about like full time, I was about age 6 or 7. And I would still go to church and it was definitely a thing, but my mom was already like out of the church because of, you know, the whole drama she had with our church. And so I kind of got both
Hmm.
worlds. I feel that sexuality, I don't ever remember there being, even in church, I don't remember there being a conversation like me thinking of like the reverence of it. And like, so I never had that. It was almost like there was like no boundaries with it. So I was completely like expressive with my sexuality at a very young age, which is, as I mentioned from the last conversation, I went back to even like the very first time and like how that whole like relationship to sex has evolved throughout my life and how I utilize that. It's not until like recently with doing the dream work that I kind of noticed. I don't know. It was just like the dream work came when I like started to abstain from sex. And also before I was like, I'm not having sex, like my sexual relationships were always kind of funny. And like when I'll be straight up and honest, like I would be in a relationship and I would completely like check out sexually for whatever reason, whether something happened and I didn't feel, because sex was always some sort of like an exchange or like some sort of transactional thing. And so when I felt like that was complete unconsciously, I would be like, oh, I don't need to have sex with this person, or I'm no longer attracted to this person. So what would I do with the Venus and Mars and Pisces? I would have my trance meditations, my astral meditations, and I would summon this person or meet with them in the astral, like their higher self, and we would have sex. And when I was like blessed to have lucid dreams, because that's way more like real and I feel in a sense more tangible than like those
Yeah.
transcendental meditations. So when I found myself in a lucid dream, I was like, awesome, I'm going to summon this person in and we're going to have sex, right?
And I
But what
want you to formulate that, put it in a bottle, and retail it because I would love to be able to call in sex into my dreams, but
I'm
I'm
sure you
too
will be able
busy
after this.
downloading or something. I don't know, man.
Well, it's only when I'm in the lucid dreams, right? And it's like,
Maybe
oh,
I'm
I'm dreaming. This is
experiencing
an
that dream
opportunity.
paralysis you guys keep talking about. I'm completely flatlined in that
Yeah.
department in my
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting, like you said, but now, like in my in my lucid dreams, like when I went back to that same behavioral pattern, because I'm not having sex at all. So it's like, oh, I'm in a dream. I can have sex with whoever I want. So let's bring this person in. Like now at this point, I don't get to do that because it's like whatever spiritual evolution I've taken on, especially with the dream work, it's like, no, but you can't have that. Like, so it's really interesting to see how the dream
Yeah,
space
you like go in a
evolves.
different direction.
Yeah. So we have some comments here. So Jace said, same here, Mary, the church didn't help. That's probably in reference to like the shame and stuff when it comes to
Mm.
sexuality. I know that Jace was raised Catholic
Yeah.
too, I'm pretty sure. He also says it only makes sense that since emotions are energy, that sex would be considered something powerful in dreams. It
Mm-hmm.
encapsulates passion, just lust at times, and love. So it encapsulates passion, lust, and love. And then he just commented, I got the answer, Mary. Be stoic and turn sex down. And it seems like the dreams start putting out. Yeah, like Jace gets pursued a lot in dreams, he says. Um, but he's always like he definitely like denies. And
You
he
guys
says
are
like the
really
more he
lucky in
denies,
these
the like,
dreams,
yeah.
eh? I don't get it, man. Well, I was giggling earlier when Lexi was sharing because she reminded me of a really juvenile dream that I had when I was a
You
kid.
sure?
I couldn't have been more than like 11 or 12 years old. Who the heck even knew how to spell sex? And I kept having this little boy, and of all names, Ralph. They used to bug me that wanted me to meet him at the park. And I'm like, no, no, no. I guess it haunted me so much that I had a dream that night. I was devastated that I met him at the park, and then he wanted me to fondle him. And all I remember was that somehow I ended up doing this act in my very early times in this dream. And all the way home, I kept having this conversation
Wait, was this in the dream, right?
in
In
the
a dream.
dream. I
Oh,
kept
okay.
having this conversation all the way home in the dream, going, is that really what it's all about? Just hot dogs? Like that's what I was comparing it to. I was like, mom would make me Lipton soup and hot dogs for lunch sometimes. So it was
Eek, eek,
her
eek, eek.
fast way of dealing with the back and forth of school when it wasn't
Oh
supposedly like home cooked meals, was she
my
was that was her getting Canadianized, and it would be those little things. So for me, my first experience and being so young, right? I'm like, what's the big deal? Is that really what it's about? Like hot dogs? And I blanked out after that. I woke up. I didn't know why I had had this dream. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not meeting him at the park.
it's
No, 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 no.
Right? You already know that was like a premonition dream. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, no.
That's so funny.
no.
I love like your childhood is so silly. I love it. Like everybody's is so silly. It's so funny to hear the stories and even just sit back and remember them. Like sitting back and they all kind of come forward and you're like, I remember that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's because your brain was so undeveloped because you were so young. It's insane. It's so funny. I love it.
Yeah. So do y'all have, or Lex, did you get any responses in your story? Because so no one responded to share their sex dreams, which I respect people's privacy. I
I get
appreciate that
it.
as a Scorpio rising. And at the same time, I'm just like, I feel that we need to have more of these conversations because again, when I saw like just everything that primarily my search was on YouTube because I wanted to just watch videos because that's like basically what I had time for. And as I shared with Alexis and Mary before we were live, I was like, I'm sure there's a lot of research and study on this, but it's like you have to go through that academic route, and that's like behind the paywall, which I wasn't doing right now.
It
So
feels
I
so
wanted,
bootlegged. You know what I mean? Almost as if
yeah.
like you got to intentionally know where to dig or what to
You have
poke at.
to, because people are talking about it. Just like I know that podcast is Jungian Life. I was like, I know they have something on sex, and I just put sex in the search bar of their podcast, and I was like, perfect. So I knew they would have it. So that was my first place to go because they do a lot. They talk a lot about dreams as well, and they always interpret a dream at the end of their episodes. And so that was my first place to look. But I even searched, podcasts on Spotify, like audiobooks on Spotify about it, and I didn't really see much. So I want to I'm glad that we're just having this conversation. And, I have had, I don't think I've ever felt shame from having a sex dream. I think it was more so, the dreams that got me that get people before they get into dream work is dreams about their significant other cheating, or maybe they're
Mm.
about them cheating, right?
Yeah.
About themselves. Like, you're like having a dream about someone you work with and you're like, but I'm married or I'm in a relationship. Like,
Yes.
what does this even
Yes.
mean? Are
Yes.
they thinking about me? And a lot of the times, it's neither, it's neither this or that. And there's some deeper meaning of like why you're having, like, it's always, I feel like, about us at the end of the day. Like why we might have a dream about our partner having sex with someone else, like cheating, or we have a dream of ourselves cheating, or maybe we're hooking up with someone that we're just like, no, that's a friend, or even like a relative. You can have these weird distorted dreams. So
For me, just spinning off of what you just said, like the more you
that's
talk, the more I have a thing that I just see it scripting my experiences that I'm having in life. So when I was young, it was my fears and my curiosity. And then as I grew older, it just became more curious. And then when I went and had unpleasant experience, I feel that my whole demeanor in that area flatlined, as if like there was no entry. I had no interest, out of sight, out of mind. I sort of closed that department part of my life until later when I had done some healing. And then even then it wasn't completed because I was still having nightmares of like current partners being unfaithful or something being off, and it was always more demonic, that if I felt like dirty, like there was a million hands sometimes coming up on me and stuff like that, not necessarily a pleasing invite of
Yeah.
an invitation for me.
Like through your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing Jace even mentioned in the comments, that a lot of the times why he is no to any, person pursuing him in his dreams to have like a sexual interaction. He says no because you don't know who that might be. Like it could be like some sort of energy vampire, or you never know. And I definitely get that. I had an experience recently in a lucid dream, because usually when people pursue me, it's like someone I know, but that's also not to say that it's them, because spirits can, present themselves as someone you know too. So you got to get a read on that energy. And so yeah, sometimes in dreams, it could be, you never know what it could be. So I definitely feel that using your intuition, and this is something that is practice, I feel the stronger you are with like feeling into your intuition, or using your intuition in waking life and reading energy in waking life, the stronger that will translate basically into your dream space. And so then you can, especially if you set the intention to do that, or just like
Yeah,
have like this like agreement with yourself that, you're bringing that into the dream space, then you can use that element of discernment, intuitive discernment, to kind of read the room, so to speak.
that's an interesting concept because I haven't had experiences where the whatever I was pursuing sexually or whatever was pursuing me sexually didn't feel outside of like, like it, every time these things happened to me, they were a part of like me. It being, I guess, like that guy or like just otherworldly being. I do have a question. Now we talk about having some dreams. Do have you guys ever experienced masturbation in dreams?
I've never masturbated in a dream.
Period.
I'm gonna have to do that
Question mark.
in a lucid dream. Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
that's
still
so.
working on your formula because if anything, I lack sleeping because I get like frisky and frustrated. And who can dream if you're still awake?
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Right? Like, I
That's
mean, there's different ways to look at it. And then are
What
we
about,
daydreaming?
it's very
yeah,
interesting.
what about you, Alexis?
Well,
Have
it's
you?
interesting. So it's interesting because the only time that I've ever masturbated in dreams is when I dream about having the opposite genitals. So
Oh,
Oh,
like
okay.
I've had
you're
dreams where
creative.
I've had a penis before, like lucid dream, And that's the only time that I've ever masturbated in my
I would
dreams.
definitely masturbate if I had a dream that I had a penis, just to like see what that was like.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Like,
think I
and
want
I
to
you used to
haven't
invite
had
dream
too
both.
all.
many of them.
I think I should invite both of you ladies to go and rewatch Sex in the City. That's what my daughter and I are doing. And we're like jaw dropped of how long some of the stuff we're experiencing now was already scripted back then. I can't
Oh yeah.
believe
Oh,
I
no
some
love
of
that
doubt.
show. I love
some
that
of
show.
the lyrics that was in that and that would be penalized or booted out or booed or whatever in today's times type of thing. But it's a really nice reminder of, how our minds go. And I think that I still echo what I said, that because my dreams, if I'm thinking about something energetically and I intentionally drive myself crazy with it all day long, then of course I'm going to like bring it into my dream. If we take even the example of like a teenage girl getting her first, let's say, date. Oh, I'm so excited. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be to the T. And then you're so nervous about the date. You take it to bed. You might get restless. You might actually have a nightmare about it. You might manifested it in the wrong direction. And then what happens? You wake up with a freaking cucuzza unicorn zit right on your forehead for the day of
What?
your date. Come on. Cucuzza means squash, okay? Like a little
Oh god.
zucchini that's like gonna be like a
Oh.
unicorn from here
Oh no, that's
waving at
terrible.
your date, okay? We really know how to drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah.
So I really think that
Yes,
whatever it is
it's
that,
so.
what was that?
Oh no, I was gonna wait until you were done. Ignore me. I am terrible. Continue.
No,
I,
you gotta
I
cut
was
Mary
done.
off.
We're waiting for you now.
Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned that teenage, like the type of dreams you would have as a teenager with like your first boyfriend, your first date, and I to this day remember this dream that I had when I had to be like 15, because it was with my first boyfriend ever. I had this dream that he walked from his house to my house from the train tracks. Now, but where that's something that was we would all walk from like one area of the town to the other through the train tracks. So in my dream, he did this, but as he was walking to my house, he stepped in a bear trap and it
Ooh.
like got his foot and he walked all the way to my house, still injured. And I found out. So I like helped him, like me and my mom healed him, whatever, like took care of him, wound his wounds. And I remember that after that he had fell asleep and woken up. And immediately we were like very interested in getting frisky. And I remember him taking off my pants and I was wearing a pair of like a thong from the store Deb that I had gotten the day before.
What in wait, in real life
I
though?
don't think Deb is a thing anymore. Huh?
I said, was
Oh, I
that,
got
did
them
you
in real
get
life.
yeah, okay. But you were wearing them in the dream?
Yeah, I went.
Nice.
Yeah, because I had went shopping with him the day before and got new thongs. So it was just like this funny little
Wow.
like
Personal fashion show to see what you would look like in your dream so that you could see it rather than be it.
yeah.
You go,
Wow.
girl. Boom, boom, boom,
Right?
boom.
I feel like even in the most like I haven't had a whole lot of sex dreams in my life, but when I use like the majority of the sex dreams I have are normally very funny.
Yeah.
Like they're very silly.
But do you think that we don't intentionally have sex dreams? Because let's face it, if could go to our dreams to have sex, who the hell? The population's gonna go to zero. Okay, who the hell is gonna go and connect themselves with someone else
Well,
when?
I will say, as someone who has a lot of dream sex, masturbates a lot, like you need all of it. Like it's after a while, like it's like the dream and the masturbation becomes foreplay.
Yeah, but I'm going to
So
be the
then,
devil's advocate because I'm going to challenge you. I'm an old fogey here, okay? I watched Demolition Man, where they put on their helmet and they were having sex without talking to or touching each other. Because how do we know what the true definition of sensuality and sex is? Like, we're talking about it based on the interpretation that we have of it. But what is it really?
yeah.
Maybe in the next dimension, if you walk by each other and you spit each other in the eyeball, that would be you having sex,
Well, I think that's like the beauty
right?
of dreams,
It
like
would
sex
definitely
and
be an
dreams, or having
experience.
like all of these different experiences and perspectives, because like you gain perspective and you see, from like, I would argue that the way I have sex in dreams, even though like for me personally, I feel like it's never been anything physical. Like there wasn't actually a
Hmm.
physical touch, but it was like such a strong energetic connection and a feeling that I've never experienced in actual sex.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that can't happen. I'm not saying that people don't experience that, but like now being someone who chooses not to have physical sex at the moment, and like going like doing more of this ethereal sex and just having sex with myself, like it's like I want to take that and translate that into the physical, so I'm willing to wait for that kind of connection, that kind of intimacy, that kind of relationship. So I feel that that experience in the astral realm and stuff deepens intimacy. Like it can, I'm not gonna say it's for everybody, but that's kind of like where I feel I'm going with that, especially because I was like, so I thought I was very deep with sexuality, but I was very surface level. And now it's like, okay, we're just gonna like hit pause on that right now and let's focus on this like spiritual aspect. And like
It's
I'll
easy
even,
to go superficial.
yeah, well, Mary even knows like this time last year, I was like all about the white tantra, which is like having sex without orgasming. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't having physical sex, but I was like also masturbating and then cutting myself off right before you climax, and then doing a whole breathing thing and like drawing that energy up, and like it was a whole thing. And that
Well,
was
that's why I was laughing
crazy.
because
That was a whole thing.
one of the scenes in Sex and the City was literally how to best please a man, right? And they were all, of course, they don't show you anything
Oh,
with,
I feel like I remember this.
and they were
Did
all
they go
just
to a
watching
class?
this maneuver,
Yeah.
and they were in this class, this
Yeah.
private workshop type of thing, and everybody went to town with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, like, I mean, I also remember like what something you said made me reflect back to a memory that I had that of another dream in my adolescent years. I could have it must have been like briefly after I saw the new back then Godfather clips of when it was ooh to show titty on cable type of thing, right? But they made it so appealing and so sensual, right? It was not so dirty and
Right.
despicable to
It
watch.
was
You could
seductive and
it
charming.
was
It wasn't just like,
seductive.
boom,
Thank
there it is.
you. It was inviting.
Like
It
there was
was
a way about
luring.
it.
It was
Yeah.
like
This is a
there's,
Scorpio
the
nature.
coyote's drool coming from the
Yeah.
fangs type of thing. You're wanting to be hungry and dig into it, right? So I remember
Yeah.
again bouncing into the memory of watching that scene with my family of all things,
Yep.
the
Deep.
Godfather with a Sicilian family, and you're seeing the sex scene, and I was in my
Oh,
dream remembering
oh.
that one clip of when they zoom in on the chick's boob when they're in Italy, right? And I remember literally waking myself up from it as if like, oh, mom and dad are going to see what I'm doing or what I'm watching. Like, I mean, I was a full grown ass adult. What the hell's my problem? Like, I can't even give myself peace in bed. Like,
Oh.
That's why I said if you could formula that shit on how you summons in your sex, I would love to retell some.
Oh, Mary, you can crack my ass
Like
up.
Urania said, intention, intention, intention. Go
Wow.
into that
Yeah.
dream space and go wild.
Right. Well, I'm telling you, after this conversation, like, I'm the next 6 months, that whole thing is gonna
I'm
evolve. You're gonna be like, oh
afraid of
my
what's going
God.
to happen after the next conversation because you started it. I said to her, I never remember I don't dream. I never remember my dream.
Yeah. And you're like one of the,
And then
yeah,
all of a
you always got
sudden I'm
some.
like pinging her on her DMs. I'm like, you look what you did. I don't know why. This is what I dreamt. This is what I'm
Right.
experiencing. This is what I'm feeling. It's crazy.
No, it's
It's been
great.
nonstop since you started the conversation.
That's what
It's great.
happens.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
wait 1 second. I have to, this is like, I cannot let this go. Alexis, so like when you masturbated in your dream as a guy, like what was that experience like? Do you remember? I hope you do.
So I
YouTube's
wasn't
like, no, no,
actually a
no.
guy. I was just myself with a penis.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And
That's cool.
it was really good. I would say every single time I probably came to completion.
I just wanted to see if you had some feedback, if there's a difference masturbating as a woman versus a man, seeing that you had both experiences.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm curious.
yes, absolutely.
Were you
Absolutely.
more satisfied as a man or as a woman?
No. See, it's difficult because I only used my hand when I had a penis in my dream, but I don't generally masturbate in real life unless I use a vibrator. So I feel like that is definitely plays a role, but I would say it was definitely like amazing. And it could too be just like my idea of, and they can just like take care. Like it just the women part is so much harder to. I don't even want to bother with it. I don't know. I think having a dick would be like, but I was very sad.
Nice. It sounds like it was amazing,
Did you get all? Am I
satisfying.
cutting out again?
A little bit, but I was able to like
We got the gist
understand.
of it.
Yeah, we got that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, if the dream
I would
gods
say
will
10 out of
allow,
10.
I might try to have that experience. Just to
I
switch
don't
it up
know
a little
why
bit.
it happened. I really don't. It was so random because a lot of the times, like, I don't conjure a lucid dream. I wake up in my in my dream lucid.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't conjure that, but I went with it because why the fuck not?
Yeah,
And,
that's really
and
cool.
it was definitely very, very
Yeah,
enjoyable.
why the hell not? Because like I mean, if role playing for
10 out of
partners
10.
will get people going, why wouldn't you consider flipping sexes in order to have a different experience? It's role playing.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe
you
as
were
a
in, you ended
woman,
up in that
Why
experience.
not?
Why not?
maybe as a woman
Exactly.
in real life, I've been so like, don't do this and you shouldn't ask a man out and you shouldn't do that, that I've shrank and shrank and shrank and shrank, that I have to go and dip into my dream, endow myself with a penis before I have the balls to go for what I really want to go for.
Right. And it could be
It
that
makes
too.
sense, right? It does.
Grow the metaphorical balls.
So Alexis.
Sorry, I'm unfiltered. Do you have a censor on your channel?
No,
girlfriend?
absolutely not. We don't believe in that. Alexis,
I'm not on I don't have any filters either.
No, this is perfect. No, so Jay says, Alexis, have you ever thought it might have been a past life experience and that you don't remember your previous form?
Yeah,
Do
maybe.
you think like
A good question,
actually. Maybe.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I mean, if I do have to say that if that's the only thing I'm taking from my past life,
Lexi, have you ever seen the show Sense8 that used to run on Netflix? Because I know Urania hasn't.
No,
Oh,
I
that's
haven't.
what
But
that
in my
reminded me of. The where the eight people were having the same sensories and hearing the same dialogues, but they were from different parts of the world, and then they can literally travel and zoom into each other's lives, and they ended up having this whole really, let's call it a daydream of orgy, because they were just little relationships that were building amongst them, and then originally when they got wind of each other finding each other all over the world, you gotta find it. If it's rerun somewhere, you gotta watch that. It was run in and around the same time as
Is it not
the
on Netflix
original
anymore?
Angel. It, I don't know, because it's so old. Like, we're going back quite a few number of years.
Because
Yeah.
I remember seeing it when I had Netflix.
Sense
I haven't had
eight, I
Netflix since
was
then, but
so
I
hooked on that, and it got canceled because I don't know. I think it was just politics. It was waking up too many people because it was impeccable. It was speaking to the energy work we were doing.
probably.
It was really powerful. And that's what that reminded me of, that maybe you connected with, you know how they say that we have seven twins around the world of ourselves as well, too? Maybe you could collect connected with your doppelganger within your dream that's a male somewhere else, right? He was having a gay old time in that moment.
That would be crazy.
Maybe it's
You
Japan and there's
tuned
a
into
time
the
difference and you're doing the hand job while he's sleeping. I don't know. That all makes sense when you break it down and connect the dots. I don't know. I'm just putting it
It's
in
so
layman's
funny.
terms.
So I love
It
no,
could
I love
be.
going down all these like rabbit holes around it because you never know.
You never
That's the beauty
know.
of dreams is that it's complete mystery. Like it is so interesting the way everything works.
Yeah.
yeah.
It could be anything. What do you want it to be? Tell us. Do you want a big dick for the future? Is that what we're asking Santa
Right. Do you
this
need
year
the
for Christmas?
balls to like move
I need
forward and
balls.
have it?
I need those blue
At
balls
this
for my
point in my
laundry,
life,
please. Magnetic balls.
at this point in my life, I've definitely grown my metaphorical balls, so I definitely don't need them in my dream anymore. But
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting considering like the time period. Like maybe it was something along the lines of like finding my internal power and thinking that the power belonged to a man.
Yeah.
Or finding your the power behind the way that we don't use our voice sometimes and being expressive in our real world, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It could be a variety of different things, and I do think that there's a connection to the masculine that I was trying to um almost get to with being frustrated with how the women were looked upon, not in my
Well,
household personally, but just in society.
yeah, and you know, like we're sitting here and we're having these conversations, and sure, we've like cracked some jokes and we like giggle here and giggle there, but a lot of this also like goes in so many different directions of like segments and filtrations of figuring out who we are, what we want, what we don't want, what skin to wear, what skin not to wear, what's next. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
There was something you said that made me do one of those 360 or 80 in my head. And I'm like, oh, and I lost it. It'll come back. We'll continue.
It'll come back. Have you guys had any recent sex dreams or sex themed dreams? If not sex.
I think the last one that I shared here was that one lucid dream, and it just like I was getting pursued consistently, and I wasn't really even engaging or paying any mind. And it was different than it's been before, where it was like actually seeking me. Usually I'm the one
Mm-hmm.
calling it in, seeking it out, or yeah, it's like very present from my end. This time it was seeking me, And like I said, at the end of the dream, I finally gave in because I was lucid and it was like I was doing so much. And I'm like, okay, this dream is going to collapse at any time. I don't even know what to do at this point, you know? So I was like, fine, whatever, let's do this. And again, I wasn't able to do it.
But
And
what if
so,
hypothetically speaking, these are not sex dreams at all? Like what if they're another means, like our dreams, right? What if they are another dialect to a language of whatever communication is coming in for us? There was something she said that immediately for me brought me to, okay, sex equals nudity. Oops, ouch. Sex nudity equals naked, meaning I'm transparent, everyone can see. Does it go deeper? Is it really a sex
oh, yeah.
discussion, or is it
Oh
something
God.
else that's coming through, right?
It
That's
could
why I
easily
said,
be a vulnerability. Like I know that I have a fear of vulnerability and have my entire life to an extent, of course. But I think that's something that's kind of universal. I think a lot of people have a very strong fear of vulnerability because things are just difficult. You don't want to give everyone everything. And when you think that they like when you think that they might, it can feel very anxiety driven.
I think that's probably why I just literally jump right out of my sleep every freaking time. I'm like,
Well, then
nope.
what just came to mind too was like the experience of being desired, right? And it doesn't have to necessarily be in a sexual way. Like for me, being the doing the work that I'm doing, it can again go into visibility, vulnerability, but you know, just even the fear or lack of fear of like fame, right? Being desired, being seen, being like lust after.
Her,
You
you
know,
want it.
I consistently will see people on, you know, online, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and they have like hundreds and thousands of followers. And, you know, initially I was like, I want to have a lot of followers and, you know, just like all eyes on me. And then I know, you know, even more so as a Scorpio rising and all my Capricorn energy, I'm like, ooh, but I don't really do I really like people and do I want to engage with all of
Well,
that? Like
yeah,
I
we don't
like
want
having the
that.
very private, selective, very intimate space. So it's like when I thought about it, it can be this dynamic of being desired and like seen and like your energy's wanted. And that's what I felt where it's like seeing that shift in my dream where it's like, oh, I'm not seeking, you know, the attention, the affection, the love, like it switched to like someone seeking me and like what's the dynamic with that. So and that was like my last dream interaction as far as like sexual engagements in that way. So that's something that I'm
For
actually looking forward to thinking
for
about.
for the last experience that I had, because like I said, that I feel that that's my only mature, let's say, exploring that I did in my dreams. And for me, the way that I can best explain it, it's like it took me back again to my childhood memory of what I remember being my imaginary friend. You know how you go into that imaginary world type of thing? It's the same with when I'm channeling and talking to divine. I feel like my whole aha moment is that I never had an imaginary friend. It was always my high self, right? And it only took me 58 years to figure that out. But guess what? That's the way that the dream memory gets recalled when I go to come out of it, right? Is that I feel that no, 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 Mary, dreams, it's just a figment of your imagination. Just let it go. Don't give it much sense. Don't even give it another second thought. And I've been, let's say, brushing it off and discrediting it for so long that I think that I feel that that's my contribution to why dreams don't come to me that way, right? Well, it's only now, after, like I said, you sparked the conversation of dreams, that I started with the dream journal, and I started to like, okay, I'm done with nightmares. Divine, if you're going to have any information that's too sensitive for me to deal with while I'm awake, send it to me in my dreams. You know what I mean? That's my only
Wow.
request type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I know how, hypersensitive that I am, and how, like today, I'm sitting there doing the dishes. My daughter's at work. My mom's screaming bloody murder from downstairs. She's not doing very well herself. So every little squeak is like my my scale goes from 0 to 1,000, like as in what's wrong, what's going on, what was it. Apparently she, and again in communicating, she always makes delivers so much more aggressively. She had me concerned that the dog was being attacked by another small rodent or animal outside while she was doing her affairs, type of thing. So I've got suds coming off my hands. I'm going up the stairs, I'm going down the stairs. My brain froze because for me, my sensitivities, it sparks my nervous system, and I'm good under pressure in that moment, but nobody's seeing that my whole freaking nervous system is being like tased as I'm in action mode to resolve the problem, right? It's once I come off of that that then I can have my holy fuck moment. Like it's like, okay, it's over. So grab the, turn off the water, wipe my hands, grab the dog. Are you okay? The dog's like giving me that energetic vibe that, yeah, I want you to check me out because that bitch wouldn't leave me alone. I think she just got a wasp bite, right? Bring her to the bathroom, down, pour her like all kinds of water peroxide with a gauze and like pat her down and pat her down. And she let me do it. And it wasn't until she felt, I guess, enough attention to back away and like, okay, enough with the water peroxide. I'm done. You know, I'm good. You know what I mean? So, and we lived happily ever after. But those are all like, I feel, contributions to the way that all of this unleashes, no matter if we're asleep or alive or awake or what level of subconscious levels that you're at. Because even in meditation, there's so many times that I feel that I'm dreaming through meditation. But is it manifestation or is it a dream? It's like that discussion. Is it anxiety or is it excitement? You know what I mean? What do we want it to be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good point.
So with the last dream I had, like Mary, you made a lot of good points, and you always, anytime we have group conversations, I feel like the three of us just go ham, and like this, the ideas just start sparking, and like new perspectives come up, and we just kind of, it flows really nicely. So I I definitely appreciate that. The most recent dream I've had was last week, and it was really funny. Like it was sexual, but not really because I wasn't vibing with the sexualness. It was like I was almost using it transactionally. So I was in this room, and there was this pole, this huge pole in the middle, and with kind of like a wrap around it, like a foam wrap or something. And I was chained, like I was kind of like in a gimp suit, and I was chained to this pole with other people, and we were all like on our knees and hands, kind of like going around this pole. And my intention was to talk to this very specific dream person. And the dream person kept going down this flight of stairs that you saw like two stairs and then it was like void. And I couldn't get their attention. So I like unhooked myself from everything and manifested my regular clothes and then jumped over like the wall threshold that separated the room from outside and left. Like I was just so like the dream person wouldn't take, like I couldn't get their attention. I was only doing that so I could talk to them in like a space that they would be interested in being in. And I was just over it and left. I just thought that was really funny. Cause like, why?
I'm being entertained that with every story she shares, she sparks some, just a short little clip of memory that
Well, that
I
happens. Yeah,
maybe
that
I've
happens to us all the
archived or
time.
something.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of a dream that I had, that I had layered myself in so many clothes that I looked like a walking Easter egg. And I felt weighted down with all these clothes. I was like a round Humpty Dumpty walking on stilettos. And I was like, I can't move any. I'm warm now.
It sounds suffocating.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
that's really interesting. I wonder like why you were trying to like, I don't know,
put all those clothes
put them
on.
in the chain. No, I'm talking. Well, Alexis like trying to like
Yeah.
talk to this. I don't know. Like it was just. I don't know.
It was so bizarre.
Like
It was like going into it was like I was going into another realm, and I knew what this person's realm required.
Were you
But
moving at the time? Like literally in your life? Were you
no,
like
this happened last
changing
week.
location?
It
Oh,
was
okay.
like it was like maybe like
But didn't
Friday or
you have to
Saturday.
move because you had some kind of blackout or something? Didn't you have to temporarily go from one location to another?
No,
no,
I
I
just
think
I
she was
just
pet. We were
decided
pet
to
sitting,
leave.
but that was a while ago. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wait, what dream are we on? Because I was just talking
No, I
about
think
this.
she's
This
she.
was
You're speaking about something in real life, Mary.
Yeah, because like I'm
Yeah,
trying to understand if
like where that
there
came from.
was something in her dream that was communicating something that was going on in her real life, is what I was trying to plug
Yeah.
into.
the way that it felt was like I was in a different realm, and the realm that the the realm the person that the or the dream person that the realm belonged to required a certain aspect to be withheld in order to have communication. And despite me putting that information, like putting that activity out for them, they were not reciprocating, so I abandoned it. I
I
was
know.
like, it ain't worth it.
So, what do you think was the sexual nature of that?
Being in a gimp suit and waiting for them to have sex with me.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I heard the gimp suit part, but I
Oh
missed the
yeah,
like
no.
waiting
So
to. Okay,
basically, it was we
that
were
was what
all
you were trying to get the
like think of a
attention for.
maypole, but it's chains in like some
Yeah.
random basement, and you're in gimp suits and you're crawling around in a circle,
Oh, okay.
just kind
Yeah,
of
that was.
waiting for this dream person to come and you know,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess come.
Sort of showcase you, like a meat market.
Kind of, but a little more like a little more. There's a little more back and forth. It's not entirely like for their pleasure, but it's a lot for them.
Yeah.
I just thought
Hmm.
it was funny and interesting, and it could
Yeah.
like be a representative, like if I'm doing the things that people want me to do for them to maintain a relationship, but I'm not, they're still not reciprocating the
Yeah, but
relationship, then to leave.
Lexi,
Yeah.
another thing that just came through for me is that I've been watching your lives for a long time here with you, and you've been lucid dreaming for a long time too, right?
Yeah,
So consider, because this energetically came down, I don't know nothing of nothing here, but consider that you may have leveled up because you've been doing a lot of intentional, like stepping into this and stepping into that, and I'm going to do this and doing the whole baggy thing that you guys do with your little sack and that to activate your dreams. I'm not that committed, guys, but
we definitely are.
I
Yeah.
respect what you guys do, but I'm just saying, like, consider that the steps that you've taken to stimulate the activity of your dreams could have potentially sent you to visit a prerequisiting time with another grand master of another dimension of those that dream realm, right? It could
It's
be.
definitely interesting the way that went about. Like it definitely, and I'm noticing more. Not only is it just because I've had like I don't know if you heard, but before, I don't remember if we announced this, but before we did the live where we did our dream sachets, I was actually just refreshing mine. I've had mine for a long time. However, I do notice that the more that I integrate my dream, the lessons and messages that I get through my dreams into my real life. So, like, kind of going over the different possibilities and then facing the reality, like my waking reality, and seeing how even though it's a far off imagery, the underlying lesson is very useful in my day to day. And I notice that the messages are coming more and more clearly instead of it being like chaos all the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
That
I
makes
definitely
sense.
agree. It could be a leveling up in that aspect.
Yeah, that definitely makes
Your
sense.
little video of the way that you guys put your little pouches together reminded me of when I was gifted a worry doll from Mexico. Someone in the office had gone away on a vacation and they came back with supporting these single moms over there that had handmade these cute little, they look like the keychain little danglers type of thing, but they were little, very colorful worry dolls, and they were in their own little pouch because you were supposed to put them under your pillow so that that way it would erase all of your worries while you sleep.
Oh, that's like it 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 sounds like it was a really sweet gift. Did you try it?
Oh yeah, and then I handed it off like a baton.
To me, yeah, I have
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, how do
But
you feel
I
about
will be honest, I forgot that it was supposed to go under your bed. So I have it here in like my treasure box, but
I keep put it
maybe
under your
I
bed
should put it
and
in
tell me
I should
what
put it in the dream sachet because I do worry a
yes, you
lot,
should.
especially yeah, so actually I'm gonna do
Why
that
I had sent
because I
it to your
haven't yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah, I'm totally spaced out on that part. Like
Yeah,
I'm sure I know you mentioned it, but you know me, you're like, yeah,
yeah.
gone.
We're
So
all
now I'm
busy
gonna do
people.
that because
Shit just
I
flies
need to
out of
refresh
our head.
mine. My sachet is on my altar and I haven't refreshed it since I've been back from Maryland. So I'm gonna put that in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that
I will
definitely
report
let us
back.
know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour, actually 9 over. So this
Sorry.
was no, we always go over. It's totally fine.
We
This
always
was
every
really
single time.
great conversation and yeah, I
Thank you
just
for
again
having
we
me,
could
guys.
keep talking about this. Oh, absolutely. You're always welcome, you know.
Absolutely.
And anyone else who's watching out there, if you want to, you know, join us, if you're feeling brave, definitely
This is how it's
Yeah.
done.
message
You
us.
just invite yourself and
Just
say, I
invite
heard
yourself.
you're
Yeah, just
inviting.
Yeah.
yeah. Just
I
message
know. I
us
feel like
and
we're due for another live with Jace as well.
right?
It's so
Yeah.
nice having everyone on.
Yeah. No, those are fun.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, so any last words, last points, last shares that you want to, you know, leave into the space as we close this out?
I just hope that everybody's dream realms are giving them the messages they need to help them through their day to day. That's always my
Mm,
wish.
thank you. I will say that um just like as we discussed how our dreams have evolved, it's like so powerful to pay attention to what is showing up in your dreams and like give it space to like breathe, like the dream itself, let it marinate, like don't feel that you have to interpret it and understand it right away.
And don't
But
necessarily take it at face value either.
that too, right? Because there's so many layers to dreams as with everything, but like your dreams will give you an idea of where you are, you know, vibrationally and just like in your spiritual journey and your within your psyche, just all the things, like the kind of dreams you're having. And that can change from week to week. Like I know some weeks I have amazing dreams and they're very spiritual and like intuitive, or they give me a lot of messages, and then I have freaking nightmares or anxious dreams like the next week. So it just gives you an idea where you're at and notice the changes and the evolution within them. And yeah, take your time with it as we've discussed how our dreams have evolved, especially when it comes to like our sexual, you know, engagements, our relationships, like that will definitely show up in the dream space as well. So pay attention to that.
And I just want to wish everybody safe and sacred and protective journeying in your dreams, because I know the impact that watching Freddy Krueger had on me, and that just doesn't sit well. May
I
you
feel like
be
Freddy
at
Krueger
your
was like
peace.
inspired me.
No, no, no,
You
no.
would,
That
you would.
dramatized me because I got so emotional. I thought when we're at time to rest, that's our only safe haven. And to think that children couldn't close their eyes and get that rest really sat heavy with my heart. So
No,
if
it's
Yeah.
you,
definitely horrifying.
I am wishing you very safe realms of being able to manifest and dream up the biggest, sweetest, wettest dream you ever want to have. care. Go and explore, have fun. Make sure you always bag your lunch and take accountability for everything that you do in the wake and in the dream.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jace and Jim. They say thank you. Jay says he's got a story for you, Mary. So we'll have to hear about that. But thank you all for watching live. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you
Thanks,
everyone for
Mary.
watching, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you again next time.
Love yous.
Yeah.